Is Mr. Nasrullah coming
He
tonight?
is not. He's traveling. John, this is yours. All right, we are live. We are on. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming today, Tuesday, March 10, 2020, for the Hopkinton Select Board meeting. I call the Select Board meeting to order. We do have a Boy Scout here, so if we could have him come up and lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Great job.
All right. So before we get the meeting going, we do public forum. Is there anyone who would like to share ideas, opinions, or ask questions regarding town government? Hearing none. So I will start with, I need to make an announcement. The town continues to monitor the COVID-19/coronavirus issue. Later tonight, we're convening into a joint emergency meeting with stakeholders, including members of the Select Board, School Committee, and Board of Health, to review this matter. Thereafter, we will issue a statement. So that's done. Second bit of house cleaning. Thursday's St. Patrick's Day party at the Senior Center is canceled. And now we will move on. So we had executive we have no information on that.
It's on so far.
So we did enter into executive session a little earlier to speak about things that would be detrimental to open session. We are on a hiatus from there, so we've opened open session. We will start by our proclamation. The Select Board will consider a proclamation. We'll consider approving a proclamation for Adita Kaushik. Is that how you say it? Close enough? Okay, thank you. Of Hopkinton Boy Scout Troop Number 1, who has achieved the rank of Eagle Scout. Come on up.
Sit right here.
Yeah, please. Welcome.
And if I have this binder, my Eagle Scout binder, if you'd like to look through it.
Of course. So first of all, we will say congratulations.
Thank you.
And our counterparts here, we've been very fortunate to deal with a lot of Eagle Scouts. I think that's indicative of a lot of things. I think that the town of Hopkinton produces some pretty good people.
Yeah.
I think we produce a lot of good boys, a lot of good girls, a lot of good Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, Brownies, athletes. I think the town just produces a lot of great things, and you are a reflection of that.
Yeah.
So that said, why don't you tell us a little bit about the project that you did?
Okay, so it was a little bit, maybe late 2018, fall in 2018. I started thinking about what my Eagle Scout project would be because I was getting close there in rank. So I contacted the Hopkinton Area Land Trust. That's what my Scoutmaster told me to do, to find an Eagle Scout project that I could do. And I got in contact with Jeff Ferber, and Mr. Ferber, we met at Starbucks and we talked about a certain project that he wanted to get done that for some reason couldn't get done, and he thought it'd be a great idea to do an Eagle project on it. And so he showed me a map of this plot of land near 22 School Street, where someone had lived previously.
Orocini?
Yeah, Orocini. And the town now had the land and they wanted to do something with it. Mm-hmm. And so he proposed that I make a trail through the land, clean up the land because there was a lot of debris and trash in many places.
Yep.
Make a trail through the land and then build some benches along it so that it'd be a nice walking trail for people to go along. And so I thought that was pretty good. So then in the coming weeks, we went through the land and started surveying and see what places we can make the trail, how the path would go. And so after that was done, then the winter started, so I couldn't get started work then. But then when the next spring started, before I could get work started for the Boy Scouts, before you can get an Eagle Scout project done, you have to write what's called a project proposal. Mm-hmm. So I had to say in fair detail what my plan for the project was, what materials I would need, how I would go forth, getting volunteers to work on my project, how long I thought it would take, what tasks exactly I need to do. And so I wrote all that up. It's actually in the binder, the proposal that I wrote. And then once I wrote that proposal, I had to send it in to the council, the Mayflower Council, and they had to approve it. And after it was approved, I was able to get work done on the project. But they recommend that I write a more detailed project plan before I get work done. So that's what I did. I wrote a more detailed version of the proposal, writing in even more detail what exactly I would do, what exact tasks I would need, and what exact tools I would need for each task. And once I wrote that, I was ready to get started on the project. And so the first thing we did was we thought it would be best that if we cleared a path through the trail. We knew the approximate path of the trail, but we had to now clear it out and then line it with sticks on the edge so it was known like what the path was. And so that's what we did, and that took a bit of time. That took maybe 12 hours in total to clear the path through the trail, get all the trash out of in the places that the specific trail was going to be marked. And then after we made the trail, there was a lot of debris and trash all over the lot, and it was part of my project that we had to clean that up. And so we went through the entire place. Harvey brought us a dumpster just specifically for us to fill all our trash in, and we ended up filling 2 dumpsters worth of trash and debris. Yeah. 2. And so the great thanks to them for giving us that dumpster to fill up. There were so many different pieces of debris around. There was one point where we eventually dug up this metal sheet thing that was probably this large, just a metal ball of sheets curved all around. And yeah, that was huge. That was really hard to get out of the ground, but we did. And there were many places where there were just tires laying around, lawn chairs. We found just metal pipes in some places. And in many places that were around the trail that we were going to build, there was barbed wire in those places, so we had to get wire cutters and make sure we took all that out so that it wouldn't be a hazard to anybody there. But we were able to, and that was in great thanks to my volunteers. They did a great job getting the place cleaned up. And lastly, I made 2 benches along the trail, or rather, I made 3 benches. 2 in the middle of the trail and 1 at the end. And I wanted to make sure that the bench would be stable and last a long time. So I had to dig deep. So we had to, as a plan, we dug deep into the ground, and then we filled the hole with concrete, and then we put the bench in so that it would stay there, and it's really stable. And so I'm glad with how the project turned out. I think I know a lot of people are using the trail now, and that really makes me glad because all the hard work I put in, and it's being put to good use. So yeah.
Awesome. So I'm very familiar with that area. As a young lad in high school, I spent some time in those woods drinking a lot of bottled water. If we weren't behind the gun time-wise, I could bring a whole lot more to this conversation. But you did a great job on that project. If you did half the job on the project that you did explaining it, it's phenomenal. You're one of the most calm, level-headed, succinct presenters that we've had come before us. You're mature beyond your years.
Thank you.
So congratulations. I'm going to open it up to the board. They'll say a few things, and then we'll get a photo with you and go from there.
Okay.
Mary Jo.
Well, I was also a good friend of Dave Goldman, and Dave did so much with the HALT program and so much volunteering in this town that I know he's very happy knowing all the work that you did on the trail that's named after him. I'm sure his family, and he would thank you very much for your hard work. I also know your mother, family, and I know that she's good at volunteering and giving up her time and services, and they must be very proud of you today. So congratulations, and I know it's hard work for all of you, the family and the scout. And I congratulate you very much. It's quite an accomplishment.
Thank you.
Mr. Catino.
Yeah, well, Boston's parks system is called the Emerald Necklace. You know, and our trails are definitely the jewels of our community. And I just so appreciate it. I've been on the Trails Committee for years now. And it really is between our lakes and ponds and trails, we really do have a really great set of places and programs for a healthy community. And thank you for just, you know, 3/4 of a mile is amazing.
Yeah.
And so, and two dumpsters, fabulous job. Yeah, it's like, to what the chair said, if you did half of it, it would have been a phenomenal project. So from the Board of Selectmen in the town and from myself, thank you very much and congratulations. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Mr. Hurd.
Excellent presentation this evening. You're a very good public speaker, and that's going to help you in life, so good for you. Well done. And also the book. So that's the first time one of the Eagle Scouts has brought to us the book with all the badges and all the signatures and all the people signing off on your progress over the years. That was really cool to see, and we appreciate you bringing that in as well. Great job. I have not been on that trail yet. I run a lot in town, and I'll get over there and check it out someday soon. But thank you very much for doing that on behalf of the community. And congratulations. This is a great award. It's going to carry with you the rest of your life. You know, when you apply for jobs when you're 40 years old, you'll be talking about being an Eagle Scout, which is really cool, and it's going to be very beneficial to you for a lot of reasons. Great job.
Definitely is a great accomplishment.
That's my neighborhood, so thank you.
Yeah. And you can thank my mom for telling me to bring the binder.
She was back there pointing to herself going, yeah, I did it.
Awesome. So let's grab a quick photo.
A quick photo, great.
Oh, yeah, and my Court of Honor, it's playing to be March 21st at 6:30 at the St. John's Parish.
Yep.
If it ends up happening, if the town lets it happen, it will be there. So yeah, and you all can come.
Separation of church and state. I don't think anything about a church, but yes, I think we got that invitation. I believe. Did you send that to Maria, who sent that out to us? I do believe so.
John,
Yep. John was calling.
I'm out of town.
Yeah, we got it. Take it up here? Sure. So here's a proclamation. Town of Hopkins and the Select Board. The Hopkins Select Board hereby recognize Eagle Scout Adita Kaushik, Troop 1, Hopkins, Mass., Boy Scouts of America. Therefore, the Select Board of the Town of Hopkins, Massachusetts, join with Adita's family and friends in recognition of his achievement in attaining the rank of Eagle Scout. Sign under our hand and seal of this 10th day of March 2020. Signed Brendan Pitson, John Catino, Brian Hurd, and Larry Joe Frenier. So congratulations. Thank you. Job well done. Mom and Dad, congratulations. You should be very proud.
Thank you, Mom and Dad. Congratulations. That's cool.
Yeah, we'll picture the 5 of you and then mom and dad join.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Do some candid shots, do some Olin Mill stuff.
Mom and dad. Okay.
Here, Mom and Dad, next to the either side. There you go.
This is like a junior high dance. Even in junior high, Brian got a little girl son.
Perfect, thank you.
Congratulations. Very proud. Congratulations. Well done.
Great job. Congratulations.
Great job. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Take care.
Okay. Hey, young man, congratulations. Take care.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
John, there's a lot of things to sign in there. A lot. Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you very much. So we will go to the Hopkinton video. Mr. Kamalo, is that correct? Elaine? Someone? Mr. Foisey, do you know anything about it? Nobody knows? Sure.
Yes, we will move
Is the chamber here?
Yes. Okay.
Look at this guy getting his hands dirty.
All right.
You need a better union.
Exactly.
Let
me ask for it. May I ask for this?
Yes, we're gonna go through it, Mr. Herr.
I stopped by Town Hall earlier today and I caught the town manager taking the recycling bin out of Maria Glenn's office downstairs and disposing of it properly.
Hey, the mark of a good leader is he wouldn't have anyone do something that he wouldn't do himself.
I don't think he was too thrilled about it, but he did.
Yeah. And through the chair, as you may know, for years the town has had a very effective and productive partnership with the Chamber of Commerce, producing many helpful tools for the community. The most recent is a promo video on the town of Hopkinton, which I'm going to hit play right now.
Can't wait.
Is there volume or no? That's a cool scene.
Yeah, great quality video.
Is this the same laptop?
Yeah, it's the same laptop. We didn't change anything.
All right.
Okay, we can go without the volume.
Yeah. We could sing.
It's men.
Look, there's Brian.
That's not the back of the pack.
Then there won't be no. Yeah.
Okay, we are in a good spot, huh?
That's cool. I never really looked at it that way before.
Who's that guy?
That's gorgeous.
He comes around every now and then.
I don't know what happened. It's coming off the TVs.
Who produced this?
Chamber.
That's gonna be way too loud when it comes up, if it comes up. It's gonna come out of the laptop, I don't know what it is. This is cool.
Called me the other day. I told you about that, right?
Killed off?
Oh, do you mind pushing it to the beginning? Thank you. Oh. It's only 3 minutes.
Norman, we're already pretty far behind.
Exactly.
A little neurotic about this.
I think it'd be a mistake not to touch on the fact that Hopkinton hosts the start of arguably the most prestigious marathon in the world, the Boston Marathon. We believe that the spirit of the marathon resides in Hopkinton, and we lend it out one day a year to Boston. Hopkinton sits in the middle of a triangle, the boundaries of which are Boston, Worcester, and Providence. It is the geographic center not only of that triangle, but of New England as well.
When I moved my business here 3 years ago, there were only 2 of us. And in a very short period of time, in 3 years, I've grown from 2 to 10. There's a lot of people, a lot of families trying to move here because of the school system. So it's creating a lot of growth and it's creating a lot of opportunity. And I think that's a good opportunity for businesses to come in and take advantage of that.
I look at Hopkinton and Dell EMC similarly. We weren't always a big company in town here. We both started small and we've kind of grown up together over the years. We're very close to the Route 495 Mass Pike interchange, so it's a great location for us to get our customers here. The purpose of this building is where we bring in customers from all over the world. It was far exceeded any opportunities within Boston or some of the urban areas locally. So cost was king, cost of doing business, ease of doing business with 3 primary drivers for us.
When I was looking for a space for the store, we looked at, and I really wanted to be downtown Hopkinton. We really felt like the town would support businesses downtown, so it's been a great experience, a lot of community support. One of the great things about having a business in a place like Hopkinton, small town, tight community, people shop here regularly, so we've been able to get to know our customers, get to know what they're looking for. We're searching just for the things that are going to be perfect for our customers.
I think the biggest attraction for families is the quality of the schools. But there's a close second, and that close second is safety. And in several cases, Hopkinton comes out as one of the safest communities in the United States. It's pretty simple. Quality schools, safe community, and citizens who care about each other. That's what makes Hopkinton the vibrant community that it is. Hopkinton is a vibrant, welcoming community, centrally located in New England and nestled 26.2 miles west of Boston. We are endowed with open space, natural resources, facilities, and programs that promote a well-educated and healthy community. We are respectful of our past, engaged in our present, and actively preparing for our future.
Come for the opportunity.
Come for the community. Come for the location.
Come for Hopkinton. Let your journey start here.
Nice.
Yeah?
Yeah, very nicely done. That's wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Kamala. So we will move on to the next item, recognition. The Select Board will recognize the Hopkinton Women's Club for its community service to the town of Hopkinton in honor of the club's 100th anniversary on March 22. Their mission is to promote social and educational culture among its members and to provide service to the community. The club produces the community register and the telephone directory that's mailed free to all Hopkinton residents. They give out awards such as the Mary McDonough Community Service Award, the Junior Endeavor Award, Hopkinton High School Selection for Attendance at MassStar, and the Middle School President's Endeavor Award. Each year, the club awards scholarships to high school graduates living in Hopkinton, and 12 scholarships were awarded to the graduating class of 2019. The club runs at the annual Meet the Candidates Night at HCAM live in April each year. They participate in Hopkinton Day, volunteer at Red Cross blood drives, and a Veterans Breakfast each year. The club collects supplies and gift cards for the Hopkinton Food Pantry, Bay Path Humane Society, public schools, Project Just Because, and the Senior Center. The club has been providing services to the community since it began in 1920. Its first high school scholarship was for $25. Club representatives, are there some club representatives? Come on up.
I was going to say no also.
All right, good. Board members. Why don't we start with you, Mr. Catino? Have a seat.
I'm Ruth Smith, past president.
All right.
This is Nancy Tarsi,
Okay.
and I'm going to be the 58th president of our club next year.
Wow.
Nice. Congratulations. Thank you. Board, Mr. Catino.
What can one say after, 100 years of community service? My goodness, it just showed me, the list of accomplishments. I know you mostly from the Meet the Candidates night, because I've run a lot.
Right.
And
You got wailed on last year at Meet the Candidates Night. You got wailed on.
yes, I survived it. But no, really, and everything from that, and the scholarships, and just the nachas, the love that you guys put out. We just saw that film about the town, but it doesn't show that part of the heart. The heart of our town really is the volunteerism, and if we could put that into a video, it would make our town even better. But really, thank you very much for all you do and continue to do, and may you do it for another 100 years.
I won't be here, but
Mr. Herr.
I can't believe it's 100 years. I
it's
didn't know that.
100 years. They've gone through 2 wars and many, many changes within the town. We do have a video that we are giving HCAM about the 100 years. And people don't understand what the Women's Club has given to the town over those years. Some things that we were very surprised at hubcaps, not hubcaps, sewer
Manholes,
caps.
yeah.
The crime watch, that was Hopkinton, a women's club. They made aprons. They worked within the hospitals years ago. And it's just amazing what they have done through the 100 years.
Excellent.
It really is amazing. I was part of an event that just turned 30 years old, and it went like that. You know, I've been around for those 30 years, so I know not all of us have been here for 100 years, obviously, but the Women's Club does so much for town, and I've been involved in some of these things over the years, and it's great, and I'm glad I just didn't know it was 100 years old.
Yes.
So thank you for coming tonight and pointing that out. Great job for you guys and all those that came before you and those that will come after all of us.
Right.
So
And you'll see the banner going up next week
cool. That's great.
across the town.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Very good.
It's amazing what women can do when they band together, isn't it?
Right. That's right.
And I don't think there's a home in this town that doesn't lean on that telephone book. I mean, it's absolutely essential to all of us, I think. And I know I use it constantly, so I'm sure everybody else must be doing the same thing. And I did know Mary McDonough too, and I'm sure she would be
Yes,
very
lovely
proud to have
lady,
a scholarship
yes.
named after her.
Yes, she was.
And she's well missed, and she was another woman who contributed much to the town. And I spent many a night at candidates night for various things that I've done here in town over the years, as have the rest on this board. And it's just, you do such wonderful things to keep the community involved and to stay involved in the community, but to keep them informed in a very nice and intelligent way. So congratulations.
Thank you. The directory has been going for 44 years,
Yep.
believe it or not.
I remember one of the first ones, Mrs. Abate was the one who
That's
did
right.
all the cover artwork.
Yes, yes, yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, I swear, reading this bio that we did, I didn't know if I was reading the bio of the Women's Club or John Catino. I don't know who's done more for the community, and that's a compliment. I don't give you many compliments. So everything that you did, and that you do is an absolutely wonderful thing, and it's great to see people give back to the town of Hopkinton, and you know, as always, we support you 100%. So thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. And we do have a proclamation.
Yep.
Yes.
Right here.
You've got it.
Yep. So, the Town of Hopkinton Select Board hereby recognize the Hopkinton Women's Club in honor of its 100th year anniversary. The Hopkinton Women's Club has contributed significantly to Hopkinton's quality of life through its volunteer efforts, as recognized by the Select Board, and is therefore awarded this certificate of appreciation given this 10th day of March 2020. Signed, yours truly, Brendan Tedstone, John Catino, Brian Herr, Mary Jo Lafreniere. Irfan Nasrallah could not make it tonight. He's traveling for business, so we can either, you can leave it here, we can have him sign it, or you can bring it back and sign it. If the cameras weren't on, I'd sign it for him, but
Okay.
they're on.
Yes, we'll leave it and we can
Yeah.
give it
Okay.
back.
Okay,
Okay.
awesome. Thank you guys very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You're
Killing me.
Yes, I tried not to.
Another one needs a strong meeting.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, thank you very much. Congratulations, thank you very much. Good job. All right, so next is the consent agenda. The Select Board will consider approving the minutes of the February 25, 2020 Select Board meeting. That's number 1. Number 2, Boston Marathon Jimmy Fund Walk. Number 3, the 17th Annual Timlin 5K Road Race. Number 4, gifts. Number 5, ambulance gift funds. Would the board like to break any of these out?
4 and 5, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Okay,
Mr. Chair, 2 and 3.
all right. So the chair will consider a motion.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from February 25th Select Board meeting.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, abstentions, it carries. Thank you. Mr. Herr, why don't you start on number 2 quickly and then jump to number 3 quickly?
I'll do them both at the same time. I have no issue with either granting a parade permit at this time. However, these things will be subject to change if the world does not kind of right itself here in the next couple of months. There's a lot of pressure on events all over Massachusetts, as we all know. I do think we should pass these now, and we'll see how it all plays out, but everyone should keep that in mind as they go through their planning. Hopefully
Yes.
nothing changes, but it's a possibility, right?
Yes, that's a known.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve items 2 and 3 of the consent agenda.
Okay.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, abstains, it carries.
Nice job, Ron.
Yeah, wonderful.
Well said.
Best presentation ever, Ron. Mr. Catino. why don't you
Mr. Chairman,
take it
yeah, I
on
just
forward?
wanted to thank New England Laborers for the trust fund, for $10,000 to the tax relief fund and $5,000 to senior transportation. In the past 10 years, I've been involved strictly with the trades and just how important a role that they play in training people for the trades and keeping everybody up to date. So I just want to say thank you to them.
Yeah, they're a great organization. I know them very, very, very well for probably 35 at least years of my livelihood. I have had something to do with them, and I know them very well. And thank you very much, Jim Merlone, and Jamie, his son, and the rest of the group down there. So thank you very much. Ambulance fund gifts, I'm going to take this one. The Select Board will consider approving ambulance funds gifts totaling $495 in memory of Franny Pine. So this is a wonderful thing, and we'd like to thank the people that donated. And just real quickly, even though we're a little bit behind the gun, just real quickly, what I would like to do is talk to you for a moment. I was called to the fire station a week or 2 ago by Chief Slamman on a Sunday with all the, between the O'Brien, the grants, you know, the gifts that the O'Brien family give every year, and everybody who has passed, who very thoughtfully in their wishes say, in lieu of flowers, donate to the Hopkins Ambulance Fund. Chief Slamman brought me up and showed me the simulator that they have, and so we went through it. This is a simulator that takes all the information from a call that's loaded electronically during the call, whether it's EKGs, whether it's every single thing that they do, it's loaded onto, and it has been loaded into a computerized system. This simulator takes absolutely everything from that call, or whichever call you'd like. It's loaded. The person running the simulator is in another room, and you reenact that call to the 10th of a second. So if you think you might have missed out on, if you had a call as a paramedic and you thought you might have a call that you thought was asthma, that might have been a COPD exacerbation or whatever, this tells you if you did it right, it tells you if you did it wrong, and it tells you how to correct it. So it's not just, in the old days when I was on the fire department, if we did something wrong, we had 25 people telling you you did something wrong. This new generation of firefighters coming through, they're not simply high school graduates. They're chemical engineers from WPI. They are some of the most smart, brilliant, motivated people, and they thrive on the feedback. So I was able to sit through a session of this simulator, and at the end of it, it wasn't until the end of it that Chief Slamman said that this whole thing, which was a significant chunk of money, this entire thing was bought by the generosity of people when people pass away and the donations are given to the ambulance gift fund. So I think of one of my greatest friends, Tommy McIntyre, where money just kept coming in and in and in. Nothing would make him happier to know that in his memory, instead of a bouquet of flowers, it might save a child's life, it might save someone else's, an adult's life. It's just an absolutely awesome thing, and thank you for Chief Slamman for getting that and for taking the hour or so, and Firefighter Bailey and Lieutenant Jurassic for taking the time to show me the way around. It was a very awesome thing. So, not to diminish Franny Pine, but that's just where it's just nice to see where the money goes when these donations come in. So, Mr. Catino.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to accept the gifts from the New England Laborers and the Ambulance Fund gifts.
Mayor Joe, would you like to second that?
I will second that.
That's awesome. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained? Carries. 7:30. Ooh, getting back to time. HCA 26.2 Foundation Special Temporary Alcohol License. The Select Board will consider approving a special temporary alcohol license application from Kelly Grill for the Hopkins Center of the Arts. Okay, thank you. On behalf of the 26.2 Foundation for the Bobby Gibb presentation to be held at the Hopkins Center for the Arts on Monday, April 13, 2020, from 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. Beer and wine for this event will be donated by Marty's and will be served by TIPS certified servers. Expected number of attendees is 150 to 250. The applicant is requesting a waiver fee. Hi guys, girls. How are you?
Good, and you?
Welcome.
Thank you.
So why don't you guys tell us, or Kel, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, I'm going to defer to Rachel because I'm actually just the venue. I'm not
She's the
involved
venue.
at all.
She's the bones of the event.
All right.
That's it.
All right.
So Marty's is going to donate all the beverages and food for the unveiling of the Bobby Gibbs statue because it's so important to the town and the community. And we've reached out to Kelly to see if they would donate the facility, and they've been kind enough to donate their space. And we're expecting 250 people that have donated to the Bobby Gibbs statue. There were 417 people that actually donated to that statue, but 250 people will be going to this event. And it is an invite-only event. 26.2 has sent out invitations to everything, and then we are providing all the tip certified people and servers and everything for that night.
Okay.
And this is everything coming from my ownership.
Yeah. So Rachel, I would like to say, in the short amount of time that you've been in this town, you've done a lot of great for the town, and I appreciate everything that you've done. Board members, do you have anything to say about this? I can't imagine that we would.
Considering how many events we've already had at the venue, and they've all gone smoothly, I don't have anything. I just want to thank you for doing this, because I know having the statue is just going to be another jewel.
I'm getting goosebumps
Downtown.
sitting here just talking about it. I mean, what she did is incredible.
Yep. Guys, we're good?
I think it's a great
Oh, good, I think
opportunity.
it's great.
Can we do that first? Quick?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Mr. Catino, I will entertain a motion from you.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the special temporary alcohol license for the Hopkins Center of the Arts for the Bobby Gibb presentation on April 13, 2020, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Second.
Okay, hearing any further discussion, hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, abstained, it carries. Thank you, guys.
I'd also like to make a motion to approve the fee waiver for the HCA application.
Second.
Second.
Okay, any
Thank you,
further
guys.
discussion, hearing none,
Have a
all
good
in
night.
favor?
Aye.
All opposed, abstained, thank you. Real quick, St. John's the Evangelist Church Annual High School Youth Fundraiser Special Temporary Alcohol License.
Mr. Chair, I move that the Board of Selectmen approve the special temporary alcohol license from Maureen Belger on behalf of St. John's Youth Group for its annual fundraiser to be held at St. John's Parish Hall on Saturday, April 4th, from 6 to 10 p.m. Beer and wine will be served by Marty's, as well as donations from the Boston Beer Company, and all will be served by TIPS certified servers.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed,
And I'd also
abstained?
like a motion to approve their fee waiver also.
Did they request this fee waiver? Yes, they did, yes, absolutely, okay. Mr. Hurd,
Second.
would love a second. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, abstained, it carries.
All set, Maureen.
Mr. Hurd, I believe you have something, we're gonna go a little off topic here.
Mr. Kamalo, I would ask for some guidance from your seat specific to entering into executive session at this time to discuss what is it we would want to go in and discuss? I'm just trying to think of the terminology.
We're discussing strategy relative to the deployment of security resources in the context of the governor declaring the state of emergency in Massachusetts.
Okay, so Mr. Chair, that is my motion for us to go now to executive session and not later.
Okay.
To do just that.
So for the people out watching and these vast number of people in our audience, obviously Charlie Baker declared a state of emergency for everything that's going on worldwide, and we just need to take a couple of minutes. We have a quick executive session. It's and because of the timeframes, that's why it isn't posted. So that's why we're going into executive session in an emergency basis.
Mr. Chair, as the parliamentarian, to go into executive session, we need to take a roll call vote, please.
Okay.
Coutinho, yes.
Ted Stone, yes.
Her, yes.
Lavernia, yes.
Okay, so if open session, if you will stand by, we will be back. I'm still trying to get us out of here on time, so thank you guys. Just a few minutes. Bob, all set? All right, thank you very much. Sorry very much for that delay. We did have to jump into our executive session for a moment. I do have a statement that I would like to read. The Select Board, School Committee, representatives of the Board of Health and staff just met in executive session to discuss the state of emergency issued by Governor Baker and new developments in Hopkinton regarding the COVID-19 virus. We were told there are 2 presumptive positive cases currently quarantining with the public health supervision by the Board of Health in the town of Hopkinton. A separate announcement regarding this matter will be issued by the school department. Here now to discuss the matter further is Lisa Whittemore, Chair of the Hopkinton Board of Health. Lisa. Sean, would you like to join?
Sean, you want to come up too? So thank you for having us here and for allowing us to talk about what's going on with COVID-19. This is a very rapidly unfolding situation. Sean and his team are communicating daily with the Department of Public Health, with CDC, and with others that as this situation continues to evolve, policies are evolving. Our health department has made the decision to treat any potentially exposed individual in Hopkinton as high risk. So, which means that they are under the most restrictive self-quarantine. We are doing this to ensure the highest safety for all of you in town. Today, there are 41 cases in Middlesex County, and we have 2 presumptive positive cases in Hopkinton. We're working collaboratively and communicating daily with the senior center, with the schools, with other town departments to ensure that they are as up to date as we are as we receive this information. And we will continue to update all communications on the town website and through other means to keep everyone up to date with the most accurate information. This is evolving. We really believe that we're going to see an increase in cases, not so much because of spread, but because we are getting better at testing. The most and best course of action that you can do is just common sense. Wash your hands, don't touch your face, stay home if you're sick, which is probably the hardest thing for our society. And together we can work to keep our community safe. Sean, do you want to add anything?
Not at this time. I mean, you covered the majority of our concern, but I just want to reiterate that we are in constant contact with the state health department, and we are working aggressively to develop policies and manage our cases, both internal to Hopkinton, and we're working to develop policies and procedures throughout the region. We had a regional meeting today to evaluate where we stand, and as Lisa indicated, conditions changed and continue to change, every moment. So we are.
We're on.
We're on.
Sean and Casey, our public health nurse, have been working nonstop for probably the last 96 hours, keeping this, gathering everything, and literally the guidance from the Department of Public Health changes on an hour-by-hour basis.
Excellent.
Anything?
Thank you very much. So we're not going to field any questions or anything like that. I would like to say thank you to the school committee for urgently convening and finding the time to come and meet with us. The Board of Health, Sean, Casey, and Lisa, I think you have a long few days ahead of you. And the town truly appreciates all the hard work you've done and what you're going to be going through. And Hopkinton's Emergency Management Director and Fire Chief Steve Slam, and thank you again for coming up on such short notice. As we've said from day one, everything that we do up here, we put the citizens of Hopkinton's safety first. And this is just another example of what a great job our entire town does. And I am proud to sit on the board with such a dedicated and devoted group of people. Moving forward. Board and committee appointments. The Select Board will consider an appointment to the Cultural Council. An application has been received from Christine Enos. There are 3 vacancies. Term is for 3 years. Is Christine here? Okay, Mr. Herr, I would entertain a motion or Mr. Catino. There's one opening, 3 vacancies, so it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Christine Enos to the Cultural Council to a term expiring 3/10/2023.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, abstain, it carries. Thank you. We are going to be in turbo mode here. We're going to try to move our way through this meeting. Next is Select Board Fiscal Year 2021 Comprehensive Budget. The Select Board will consider adopting the Fiscal Year 2021 Comprehensive Budget and submitting the budget to the Appropriations Committee. Mr. Kamalo, if it's appropriate to go to you. Wait a minute. Yep, Mr. Kamalo.
Yes, Mr. Chair, just to clarify one point, the goal of tonight's meeting is for us to introduce what we believe is the solution to the FY21 budget. There's a plan to have the Select Board, School Committee, and the Appropriations Committee meet later this week on Thursday at the school committee meeting to finalize the plan.
So we can table this item?
Not table, we will introduce the concept.
We'll.
Yes, I'm just clarifying that the agenda had said that the budget will be approved tonight and moved to the...
it'll be...
That will not happen tonight, it will happen after Thursday.
Okay, great. All right, so, where are we?
Yes, and so by way of...
And thus.
And thus, as you may recall, I first presented this year's budget to the Select Board on January 21st. And subsequently have provided additional updates January 30th, February 4th, February 25th, and then tonight. During this period, and in line with the Select Board's directive, the Budget Advisory Group has met weekly, and those meetings included leaders from the Select Board, the School Committee, and the Appropriations Committee, as well as senior professional staff from Town Hall and the schools. As I previously reported, the January 21st budget provided $291,000 less than was requested for town departments and $1,382,000 less than was requested by the school department. Just to revisit the scale of the school budget request, the request was for an additional $4.3 million, an 8.9% increase, including the addition of 46 full-time equivalent positions over the FY20 budget level. The Select Board directed continued work to find more funding for the schools without an increase in tax impact. And I'm here to report that through collaborative effort, we have put together a plan that meets that direction. Not with a perfect solution, but with a solution that I believe is workable. Here are the key recommendations that I'm putting forth tonight. First, our estimate of net state aid from all sources has improved by a substantial $480,000 based on the governor's budget as our most recent mark to use as an estimate. Please note that this number includes increases in state education aid, increases in other categories of aid, as well as reductions in expected charges for our contributions to other state programs. Even though this is not just an education aid increase, I am recommending that we apply 100% of the $480,000 as relief to the school department budget. To provide additional support for the outstanding Hopkinton Public Schools, I am recommending that we retain the original $291,000 in cuts to other town departments and, in addition, shift $133,000 from the town side of the budget to the school department. New town cuts include a reduction in the amount paid to the water department for the maintenance of the fire hydrant system, cuts to salary funding in the fire department made possible by the retirement of a senior firefighter and replacement with a more junior person, and cuts to public safety over time. Again, these are real reductions on the town side to support the school department's large budget request. Further, I am proposing that the town apply $444,394 of the funding expected in the School Stabilization Fund from the Legacy Farms Host Community Agreement, with 100% of that amount going to the school department to help fill the budget gap in FY 2021 as required under the agreement between Legacy Farms and the town. In fact, a portion of the host community agreement relating to school enrollment was expressly negotiated to provide bridge financing for town education costs that would be incurred in connection with Legacy Farms development during the period before the full tax revenues from Legacy Farms are flowing into the town's coffers. Using some of the funding that is due to the town for this purpose is precisely in line with the negotiated host community agreement. The net effects of these actions is that the school department will receive a budget of $51,986,718, an increase of $3,940,871, an 8.2% increase over the FY20 school budget. We are achieving this dramatic funding increase for the schools within the mandated 2.5% tax impact on existing property owners, separate from debt exclusions. While it is up to the school committee to apply this large funding increase to school needs at its discretion, our analysis did not occur in a vacuum. It is noteworthy that this increase is sufficient to provide for every dollar of cost of living, salary lane, and salary step increases needed to support all existing teachers and student support staff at all 5 of our excellent schools. It provides enough for every dollar of requested salary increase for all existing administrative and general support staff. It provides enough for every single new teaching staff position requested at all of our 5 schools. It provides enough for every single new student support staff position requested again at all 5 of our schools. It provides enough to fully fund requests for new instructional leadership positions, including a half-time FTE assistant principal at the middle school and a full-time English language learning coordinator in the central office. And finally, it provides enough for every single requested increase in equipment, materials, staff training, and instructional support across the school department. Again, it is up to the school department to apply the budget provided, and this $3.9 million budget increase in a single year is clearly enough to solve most of our pressing problems. As I noted at our last meeting on this subject, our approach for achieving this large increase in school funding within a 2.5% tax impact constraint was not ideal. This proposal relies on balancing the operating budget with funding from the Legacy Farms Host Community Agreement, which is an application of one-time money to support recurring costs associated with hiring new staff. That sets us up with a potential problem in the FY21 budget if the new, more aggressive enrollment projections being used by the schools prove to be correct. One benefit of this approach is that it will give us a good chance to evaluate those new enrollment projections before considering a tax override. Finally, I would like to thank all of those who contributed and continue to contribute to the development of this recommendation, including the leadership of the school committee, the select board, and the appropriations committee, as well as the professional staff on both the schools and town hall of the enterprise. The select board directed me to develop a solution to this difficult challenge within very specific constraints. The proposal being offered, while not ideal, meets that tasking. I understand that the school committee is interested in discussing this proposal with you, and I'll be happy to help you coordinate that discussion this coming Thursday. Subsequent to your review, the next step in the process is to forward a decision to the Appropriations Committee relative to the FY21 comprehensive budget. Questions? Comments?
So I don't think that that we at the board will have any questions or comments because we kind of knew about this beforehand. So thank you for your update, Mr. Kamala. Did the board members have anything to say or any questions?
Just a couple of quick thoughts. One, this is a pretty unique budget year for a lot of different reasons. The increases are all about the growth in the town of Hopkinton. I've always been a pretty aggressive in trying to manage the budget process and managing the numbers. And through that, you know, working with a lot of other people over the years, we had years where we didn't increase 2.5, we didn't even increase 1 a couple times. We've always been very aggressive in managing budgets, but when the town's growing this fast, when the schools are growing this fast, we can't put, you know, all those great, that great institution in any kind of jeopardy. So this year, crazy as it sounds, support these kind of increases in general. I do not, and we talked earlier this year about a possible override. I would not support an override for $300,000 or $400,000. If next year's fiscal year, an override, perhaps catching up, you know, with continued growth, is going to be bigger than that, and that's something we can talk about next year. But doing a small override is not good public policy in my view. And then finally, the last thing I would say is assigning some of the HCA money, some of it, not all of it, there's a lot more there, and coming to the schools for this one-time revenue source, if you will, is exactly what the HCA was designed to do. I think over the years, the perception of what that money was geared towards or should be geared towards may have evolved, but the reality is until all those developments are done over there and all that tax revenue is flowing on a steady basis year after year, this is exactly what that money was designed to do, and I fully support using that money in this regard for this fiscal year. Again, next year, if things are a little bit different, we can revisit this idea of the possible override. Earlier this year, I said I'd support it if we needed it. I will not support it now if some suggest that we need it, because we don't need it. We have the money available through the other means that we've talked about to make this work. I do know that the school committee's not had a chance to digest these numbers, and so that's why we're not going to vote on it tonight, as I understand it, because we want to give our colleagues a chance to do their deliberations, and then we're all going to try to get together at some point soon to hash this out further. But I just want to go on record, Mr. Chair, that we don't need an override this year now, and why would we increase taxes when we don't need to?
I agree. I agree with you 100%. Well said. Thank you. All right. So we're good, Mr. Kamala, with this item?
I believe so.
Okay, good. Yeah. Thank you very much. So moving on.
Can I just say something?
Sure.
I am all for this budget and everything is fine, but we were giving a chat about employees and the different departments, and general government in this town has not increased at all in a number of years. They've just held the line. They're working very, very hard and diligently, and public safety has shown some increases. Also, the public works has not increased their budgets with all the new roads and the snow plowing and all of the more energy the rest of the town has had to take on. They have sacrificed, and they have sacrificed a lot. And I just want to mention that, you know, we're doing it again. So I like to give them some credit. I like to give the whole town some credit for their abilities to look at their budgets and make whatever sacrifices they need to make. They've been doing it for a long time.
Thanks, Mary Jo.
Yeah, and I concur. Mr. Kamala, I don't know how you pulled this off. I saw us going into an override, and again, to all the town employees, you know, thank you very much for DPW, to reiterate what Mary Jo was just talking about. You know, I've seen this for the last 6 years I've been on the board, that, you know, 0 to 1% for the town hall and its employees, and I commend you to be able to hold the budget to that, and I believe that using the money from Legacy Farms as a circuit breaker, because we have circuit breakers in the schools for many other things, and to use it as a circuit breaker, because I was against using it for one time, but to Mr. Hurst's point, it really is, that's what it's there for increases, and to use it, I'm on board, just so we don't have to have an override.
Good. Thank you. Moving on. Annual town meeting articles. Select Board will finalize its own ATM articles. Mr. Kamalu.
Yeah.
Well, actually, yeah.
Through the chair, we provided a list of the annual town meeting articles, and specifically called out the draft dog licensing bylaw amendment, street opening permit bylaw, as well as the draft trench safety officer bylaw for your attention.
Okay. Board members, anything? Hearing none. Good. Do you need a motion?
No, we're good.
No, we're good. Good. So that brings us to the town manager report.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah, quickly. Main Street Corridor project, I think the key highlight is that we now have received the 100% design comments from Mass DOT. VHB are working on incorporating and reviewing those comments into the final design. We also had a meeting this morning with the Chamber of Commerce where we specifically addressed the project schedule issues, continuing communication and collaboration with the Chamber, as well as the abutters to the project. We also have begun the process of really nailing down the project schedule with Mass DOT. We're still hoping that the project will be advertised mid-June.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Good.
Okay, and then the second issue is we're requesting the board to accept the Treasurer's recommendation to assign a useful life of 20 years for the Elmwood and Hopkins School modular classrooms. The school department concurs.
To that, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that the maximum useful life of the department equipment listed to finance with the proceeds following borrowing authorized by the votes of the town passed December 9, 2019, Articles 4 and 5, and February 3, 2020, questions 2 and 3. It's hereby determined pursuant to the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 7-1, as follows. Purpose, modular classrooms, the Hopkins School, borrowing amount of $3 million, maximum useful life 20 years. Purpose, modular classrooms at the Elmwood School, borrowing amount $2 million, maximum useful life also 20 years.
Need a second.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? It carries. Thank you. Mr. Kamalu.
I'm requesting the board to allow the town manager to sign a consent that will permit Myrick O'Connell to represent the 26.2 Foundation before the town in relation to the lease and development of an international marathon center at 53 East Main Street. This arises because Myrick O'Connell is the town special labor counsel, and Joe Baldiga is a volunteer on the 26.2 Foundation board.
Yep, sat through both sides of this argument. I see absolutely no issue at all whatsoever that we should seek a that we should give a waiver. Mr. Catino, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that the select board consent to allow America Connell to represent the 26.2 Foundation Incorporated before the town in relation to the lease and development of an international marathon center at 0 East Main Street, and to allow the town manager to sign the consent letter.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, abstained, it carries. Mr. Khumalo, PerkinElmer.
Yeah, PerkinElmer TIF, I have received a report from the Finance Department and John Neese, who is the project manager on TIFs, and that PerkinElmer has not met its job creation goals, and we know why. There's a company that spun off from PerkinElmer, and that company moved out of Hopkinton. The new company moved out of Hopkinton, and so I'm simply updating the board that through John Neese, we are asking PerkinElmer to present its position in terms of how it will cure this underperformance. And if that doesn't happen, we'll be asking the board to take the next step, which would be to consider notifying the Massachusetts Economic Assistance Coordinating Council that the TIF should be dissatisfied and ending the tax subsidy.
Good.
How about any back taxes associated with that?
I think when we put together the TIF agreement, we specifically had a provision that will allow the town to exercise any clawback if need be.
Yeah, and we should expect to collect that.
I wouldn't say at this point that we're expecting to collect that. We will need to do our additional review and analysis.
All right. Any board good with that?
Yep.
Mr. Khumalo, subsection E, please, 6 Walcott Street purchase.
Yes.
Yes.
I think this is, again, pursuant to a town meeting vote. We are now executing the purchase and sale agreement for the property. I'm respectfully asking the board to accept the deed and trustee certificate from the seller of 6 Walcott Street, Joseph Marquardant, and also to authorize the town manager to execute the order of taking that the board should vote on tonight.
Excellent. Mr. Catino.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that with respect to the acquisition of the property located at 6 Walcott Street, the select board vote to accept the deed and trustee certificate from the seller, Joseph D. Marquardant, trustee of the Walcott Realty Trust. And 2, to execute an order of taking for the property, and 3, to authorize the town council to negotiate and sign any and all documents necessary to effectuate the purchase of that said property.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, abstained, that carries. Liaison reports.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, one more thing before we get off the town manager
sir.
report. Back to item A, Mr. Khumalo, on the Main Street Corridor project update. You may have mentioned it. The next step for the select board with respect to the Main Street Corridor project update is to do what? We have a vote coming up soon, don't we?
Yeah, I believe it's April 7th. The board will vote the orders of taking for the temporary and permanent easements.
The temporary and permanent easements will take that vote and formally finalize that process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Liaison reports. There you go.
I don't,
Ryan.
been doing a number of things, but I don't have a report.
Nothing for this
Specific
evening.
one needed
John.
this evening.
Yeah, I met with Parks and Rec and the 26.2 Foundation to get their sign off on the allowing the 26.2 Foundation to master plan the entire 19-acre parcel. And then also had a nice meeting with the Board of Health and Public Safety on the COVID-19 also.
Good. I have nothing. Future board agenda items. Mary Jo. Other than the
I don't have anything.
Other than the obvious update.
Update, budgets,
Update on COVID-19, Corona.
yeah.
My Corona.
I'm good, Mr. Chairman.
I have nothing to...
You're good?
I'm good, Mr.
All
Chairman.
right. So my favorite article of the night, Mr. Catino, if you will walk us through this.
Well, actually, we're going to adjourn, are we going to go into executive
We
session?
do not have to go back to executive session, do we?
Yeah, to adjourn.
So I double check before
I'm
I...
sorry, I'm confused. I don't believe there's a need to go back into executive session.
Okay, just wanted to make sure before I made these...
So with that, we can just, we adjourned out of executive session earlier, so now we would just adjourn.
Okay,
the
motion
public
to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
I am glad that you made that motion. I'm dying to hear a second.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, abstained, it carries. Thank you very much.
Good night, everyone. Thank you for
Our
joining
next
us.
meeting,
Thank
we
you
have
for
it
your
is
patience.
next Tuesday night. And then we didn't have the one on the 6th, so we're meeting this week and next Tuesday night.
We
Sorry,
don't have
I
one
just
next week.
was wondering.
Do we have one next? No, we don't have
Yeah.
one next week. Yeah, we do have one next week.
17th is next week.
Yeah.
Is Amy coming?
Yep.
Isn't that St. Patrick's Day?
Did we sign
Yeah,
everything?
it is
we
St.
signed?
Patrick's Day, that's why I asked.
Did you?
Mary Jo, did you sign everything? That's all
Yes, I
signed?
did.
Norman, on this vote of the select board,